everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. This is the last day of 2018, but I probably won't get this edited and published until next year. How about that? Dana, thank you for more goodies. I thought you were all done purging and sending, but your goodies are always welcome here. So thank you so much. I get a lot of use out of them. I really do. So today I am working in that book that I repaired, rescued, put back together with the Coptic binding, and it was requested on our live chat that we work with some scraps and fabric. We didn't get the fabric today, but we will soon. I use lots of scraps in the background, 3 colors of acrylic paint, lots of scraps, transfers. My transfers are a little dark. You might want to go with a little bit lighter transfers than what I used. And then I garnished the corners with some gold paint and gold acrylic and stencil. So it was very fun. I still have company here, which is absolutely delicious. I steal away into my studio for just a few minutes every day, which I love. Thank you all for such a divine 2018. You've all been so supportive via the Facebook and via YouTube comments and Patreon and Amazon. So I thank you for all of those. You've been amazing. So enough from me. See you on the table. All right, this is what we're going to be playing with today. This is the page that had the screws that were through from the back cover, from the front cover actually. I thought I was going to have to do something with them, but I'm not. The transfer disguised them very well, and I'm okay with that. So this has layers of background, layers of acrylic paint, transfers, and a gold acrylic with a stencil. So very fun to play with. So you'll need 3 acrylic colors, some scraps, which was a request from the live chat that we play with a little bit of scraps, laser print transfers that we create with the Mod Podge, and then the gold paint with a stencil. Okay, we have a little bit of light left today. I've got a box of underpants here, fun underpants. This is the back page of the book that I put back together, and this is the Frankenstein front. And so there's some screws that have come through, of course, and I'm okay with that. We're just going to build around that. I'm going to go ahead and put underpants on these 2 pages. I can put underpants over these strings because there's not much stress on those strings. So I can put underpants over these strings and over this page. So that is what I am going to do. I'm going to grab my baby blue, which she's been through the war and she is doing just fine, thank you. And I am just going to add some underpants to the 2-page spread. I did put fabric in the spine, as you can see, so that is more attractive. So I just put Mod Podge down and a piece of fabric, ripped fabric. Give that more of a finished look there. Okay, I have some yummy underpants on. These are some stamps that Melinda sent me. Aren't they fun? So I just put some of those on there too to decorate it just a little bit more. Those are delicious. I have 3 colors of acrylic paint that I'm going to play with. I'm going to grab the pink. Ooh, just put a couple of drops on there. Bring in my handy dandy credit card or gift card. Just smush that paint around. These are the strings from my binding. Delicious. And we'll let that dry. Good morning, all. Handsome hubby is off to work. The sun is not up. So I have my underpants and some pink acrylic on here, just the craft acrylic, so it's a thinner acrylic than in the tubes. I'm going to bring my sandpaper in and I'm just going to rough this up a little bit. Okay, I sandpapered these 2 pages. I'm going to set this aside. I know now that I'm going to be working on some transfers, so I'm going to start the process of putting the Mod Podge on them. They're a little bit big for the pages, but that's okay. We'll trim them down when it's time. So I'm going to put a layer of Mod Podge on each one of these and start that process, because they need 3 layers of Mod Podge before I will transfer them onto the page. And I'll set these aside to dry. All right, I have a pile of small pieces, and I'm going to separate them into colors and images. Okay, let's bring our book back in. I'm going to choose from the colored pieces, and I'm going to randomly glue some on these 2 pages. Now remember, I still have the nails coming through, so I'm still dealing with that. I'm okay with that. It'll come into use at some point in time. And I'm just going to put a few pieces of the colored background down. We are just building the background right now. Grab our gift card. Smush it down on the page. And we'll let that dry. So I have a heater vent down by my feet here at my table. So I just stick these transfers under there and they dry pretty quickly. So this is the second coat of Mod Podge on each of the transfers. Okay, this is about dry. You bet. Sandpaper. Tear it up. Now I'm going to bring back in my colorful images and Mod Podge them on top of the sanded, beautiful texture, might I say. Might I say. And just bring some images in. Those little nails. All right, we're going to bring our last color of craft paint in. We can do it right on top of the moist Mod Podge. That's just fine. And our credit card. All right, let this dry. Bring your transfers back in and add one more layer of Mod Podge. Okay, while we are waiting for everything to dry, we're going to play with the rust pastes on these keys. Now these keys came from Dana. I've gotten quite a bit of fun stuff from her. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm just going to put some stuff. I'm going to start off with the dark. And just really goop up the key. I'm working on 4 keys at once. Why not? We'll be doing one side at a time. So this rust paste, Saskia says you can do the rust with the acrylic, these 3 colors of acrylic, which is really good information to have. Now this rust paste has sand or something in it, so you can see how textured it is. Adding the, what I think is the rust color anyway. And I'll let that dry and then we'll do the other side. Those guys are pretty cool. Flip them over and rust the other side. Same process, these 3. All right, they are pretty, pretty darn cool. All right, we're just going to set those aside and bring our transfers back. All right, I'm bringing the book back in, and I'm just going to stabilo around the images, around the last images. I'm going to do around the edges of the pages. And now I am going to bring my transfers back in. They have 3 coats of the Mod Podge on them. What I need to do is make them smaller because that is too big. So I'm going to cut this down, kind of like just that. All right, I'm going to cut them down, get them ready to glue on there, transfer on there. All right, so I've cut my transfers down to approximately fit the pages. Okay, I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge onto here, onto this, and then turn it over and place it on my book. Place it on the page. And really massage it down. Do not put Mod Podge on the back of the paper because you're going to be removing that. But you want the paper stuck down as best you can. Now I am still working around those little nails. Do the same thing with this. I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on here. I usually like to put Mod Podge on the page that we're putting the transfer on as well, but I have Stabilo on there and I don't want the Stabilo to move around. So we are just putting Mod Podge on this side and laying it down and massage it down. While I was waiting for this to dry, I changed the hardware on this, which I think is very fun. I got this from Dana Marie months ago, and since this is solid, I could screw into it, so that was pretty fun. Alright, I've waited as long as I can. I'm going to spray some water on here, and I'm just going to start rolling that paper off. If you haven't done a transfer yet, you are in for a treat. If you've done a transfer and you haven't gotten it to work yet, keep practicing. So a little bit of water, just start rolling that paper off. So I have a sizable air bubble here. I'm sure everyone has a syringe handy. I'm just going to go in there and poke a hole in that and push that down. If you have any air bubbles that you can see, just go in there and just pop them. Push it down. And keep on rubbing. I'm just going to do the finish up on this, these little bits of paper here, and then I'm going to go on to this page. So yep, still rolling it off. Okay, this will clear up as the Mod Podge dries. I think we got all the paper off it. There's always more, it seems like. Still have my morning voice. All right, we're going to start on the other page. Now your transfer should feel really, really smooth, so if you run your fingers over it and it catches on something, then there's still paper on that transfer. So just keep rubbing until it's really, really smooth. This one's almost done. Now I'm just going to revisit this one with a little bit of water and make sure that I've got all the pieces off this one too. Feel it kind of catching in there, which means there's a little bit of paper there. Okay, now I'm going to bring in a stencil and a sponge and some gold acrylic. And I'm just going to put the acrylic right on my workspace a little bit, or a lot, can't decide. And I'm going to just dab into that stencil. And I'm going to do the same down in this corner. And I'm going to do the same in this corner. And up in this corner. Now, we still have the screws that are coming through, but the plastic, the Mod Podge of the transfer has really toned those down a little bit. No, toned those down a lot, actually. So I'm not going to worry about them. I'm just going to let them be. Beautiful. I think I might put a little bit more in this corner. Beautiful. All right, let that dry. All right, here's your project for today. I was working on a 2-page spread. There's a fun background of many layers of underpants, some acrylic paints, transfer, and then some gold filigree. So very, very fun. And this is in the book that we put back together with the Coptic stitch. So go create, go play, go have fun.